Good afternoon. Just going to test, make sure everything is okay, and then we can get up and running. Busy day today, busy day yesterday, just for the 3 o'clocks, but it was a profitable enough enterprise. So let's have a look. See if I can find my live. So excuse me for a sec. I might have to go here and then get the link. Go back here, stick that in there, and Bob's your uncle. So hi Trevor, nice to see you. I suggest everything's okay if you're giving it the thumbs up. Good stuff. So let's get cracking because it's a busy old day. I'm just going to try this. So what we've got at the moment, Lecce and Como. Lecce need the points more than Como. Paris FC, automatic promotion for these top three sides. So they're going to be a tough side to knock off the perch, despite the fact Bastia themselves need points for the promotion playoff. Eldenza, desperate need for points. Racing Ferrol, desperate need for points. But are they too adrift? That's the problem in the Secunda. I don't think we'll go that far down. We can't even see it on the page. That's not a good sign at all. Can't even see Racing Ferrol on the page. It's all dependent mathematically whether they still have something to fight for. We've got to be sure that we're not getting involved in dead rubbers. So I hope you're all okay over on YouTube. I'll just give it another ding. Okay, good stuff. So I'll go back. What I've done, or tried to do, with Soccer 24 is just to highlight every single match, basically, because we need to be looking at the impact on other teams. So, and we also have a quick look as well at the odds. Mainz and Wolfsburg, evens favourite at home. So, yeah, just pay it some mind. Maybe just look at the in-play stats, make sure they're shortlisted. And the important element is not just have they got anything to play for, we also need to know how many matches are left in the season. We need to get rid of your Birminghams with their 0-0s yesterday. Had absolutely nothing to play for. So we've got to make sure there's enough matches left and these sides have enough to interest them. Let's have a look at the base here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So enough to play for. Standings with this current scoreline. Mainz are looking at 5th place in Europa League place, but with a win could possibly overtake Leipzig on goal difference. No, that's Leipzig with a draw. So if Leipzig lose and Mainz win, that's enough motivation to upgrade to a Champions League spot, isn't it? Wolfsburg looking a little like mid-table mediocrity for them now. That's my concern with them. But notably, with the carrot of Europa Conference League, only 5 points away, albeit that's accounting for this win. They're still in with a shout with 4 or 5 matches left. So it's going to be an interesting one to see whether Wolfsburg can be knocked off their perch. So let's have a look. Some of the goals coming in. And we can see immediately. This, for me, at the end of the season, is more workable. Highlighting every single match and then looking at the permutations as the day progresses with these live standings. Viscountliga is just beginning, but I would still ask you to note KUPS. They look the standout side in Finland at the moment. SJK are knocking on HJK Helsinki's door as well for that top 3 position. So KUPS certainly. Jarrow, I think, are newly promoted, so they could be in for a bit of a spanking. But it is early doors in the season. KUPS certainly very reliable when the in-play stats are suggesting as much. So I'm waiting for these shouts for goals coming in. Not using Football24 at the moment, just this at the end of the season. I think it's the better. And of course we get the catch up with the in-play guru, which we'll get to now. So Rayo Vallecano and Valencia, there's nothing too much to panic them, but Valencia are in extremely good form. So pay that some mind if they can start that momentum rising. They've just scored a goal, Valencia, and you can see that brown line is starting just to rise. Have they got an assault ready? Is there anything to benefit? Well, as things stand, a win for them would take them to 40 points. With the top 5, top 6 European places on 48, 40 is the place to be. And it's an opening goal for Old Perry, Cesc Fabregas' side. I don't think that's much of a surprise. Nice and comfortable, excellent season in Serie A for Cesc Fabregas. And Como, that's what I'm listening for. That tells me there's a goal coming somewhere. And that's the Lecce Como one. It's going to affect Lecce more than Como, this one. So this is my routine now for the end of the season. We can go straight to the live standings. Note any impact or any negative impact that this loss is having, and any positive impact the win is having. So Como way above the relegation zone now, absolutely comfortable, particularly with these extra 3 points. They'll be delighted with this season. A break into the top 10 wouldn't go amiss. They're only a point shy of that. They can maintain the 3 points. Lecce, well, they've got Venezia and Empoli sniffing down their backs. So I think we'll keep an eye on the Lecce in-play stats here. But to look at the form of the bottom 5 in Serie A, it is Danny Dyer, isn't it? Just a single win to conjure up in 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 matches between that lot. Parma have got to end the draw sequence because they're getting drawn into this relegation squabble. Anything under 30 points. So for me, yes, I'll keep an eye on the in-play stats, but I'll be looking for something from Lecce with Como thinking that they're safe, I would say. So we'll be looking at that with interest, as VAR as well. So we'll wait on that. Hi Dave, nice to see you. And hi Stephen, nice to see you as well. Sorry for the catch up there. I'm trying to use 3 different desktops. So this is for Fairbot. And you saw yesterday with the likes of Middlesbrough, we're looking for this concerted pressure, aren't we? Must win. Playoffs are waiting. Look for that pressure. And they did it yesterday, didn't they? A late winner. If you were on board last night, normally my day off, but a very useful Friday. Mainz and Wolfsburg, well, we'll keep an eye on the in-play stats, won't we? Because it would suit Mainz, this one. Again, it takes a while to warm up, doesn't it? The Bundesliga these last few weeks. It's been a bit of a snooze fest early doors, but then it gets going. Saw that with English League One last night as well. Arca Gidney already leading. We don't need to look at them. So while things are quiet in the Bundesliga, just do some housekeeping with some peripheral leagues. Of course, all the English were out for Easter yesterday. Elfsborg on the cusp, 101 attacking pressure index. Always pay that some respect. We don't really have anything to work off this season because it's just begun in Sweden. But i.e., you're going to have to rely on in-play stats, and the Elf are starting brightly. So keep an eye on them. Got a win in their last match as well. Norrköping and Halmstad, watching brief, really, unless there is some absolutely compelling in-play stats. We got a tune out of Malmo the other day. So let's just appendix sport. 1.67 and still odds on. That gives you a real clue that that draw could be vulnerable at some point. Maybe, well, hopefully, second half. Right, we're up to date. Of course, the English will be a big bind. Nothing at 3 o'clock there. So we'll see how long the live stream will continue. I didn't factor in that big 3 o'clock miss in all of these massive fixtures. So let's go and have a quick look at the matches that are in play at the moment. Go to the live element, work our way through into Turku and VPS. Don't have an opinion with that at the moment. Paris, what you'd expect, given their league position, but Bastia could do with getting something out of them. So let me make sure I've got this one. Yeah, keep an eye on Bastia, potential strike from them late on. Take points off Paris FC. Help their promotion playoffs no end. So just look out for that from Bastia. Mainz are starting to wake up. Let's just remind you of Mainz's position, what 3 points could do for them. It's an upgrade, isn't it, to the Champions League, potentially. And they look as if they're making inroads to a potential equaliser. We have to look at the in-play stats this stage of the season. Bayern Munich look like they've opened up against Heidenheim, who desperately need points. It's going to be disappointing for the bottom three because they're getting further and further adrift. They keep losing big guns. You haven't got a chance, really. Mainz in-play stats. They're looking rosy, I think. So we'll keep an eye on Mainz. Motivation is there, isn't it? At this stage of the season, we're not necessarily taking our cues from anything else. I have to get rid of one of these matches. So I'll just get rid of that one. That should get rid of that. There we go. So Mainz and Wolfsburg could be your first potential play. It's always got an element of risk attached to it. I wouldn't have factored Mainz in pre-match with any sort of confidence. So do bear that in mind. I'll keep that at 20 for a reason. So as ever, take your insurance out, and at these odds, there's absolutely no excuse not to. So you're laying to win the amount of money that you want to play with. So for me, it's 2 times 20. There we go. So I've got £39.20 to play with. So let's be simple, 20 and 20. Now, Mainz +1, if it's reasonable, I could stop there because this isn't one I factored in. 1.83 for me is reasonable enough. It factors in the draw. You've also got the option of going match odds, of course. So I'm using that full £40 stake now with Mainz +1, which effectively is the same as laying Wolfsburg. So you've got the draw factored in. You've got the alternative route if you want, bigger risk, bigger return, and with that carrot of Champions League football. Is that big enough carrot with home advantage? If it is, 3.35 this early on could be quite good. So I would split my £40 stakes now. So it's either +1 or match odds. Half stake to back Mainz, half stake as liability to lay the Wolf. I'm going to do that deliberately because, as you'll see in a second, this will disappear. So what I'm trying to entice you in is if we get to a draw, to entice you to stay in and look for that possible £61 profit. The old woof woofs are out tonight. Goodness me. So that's a Bayern Munich goal. No other news yet. Too early in the season for the Veikkausliiga. But Paris and Bastia, as you see, if we get a late charge from Bastia, I would look at that. They start lighting up the attacking pressure index. then start getting interested. But it looks as if it's all gone flat, doesn't it? You can see that momentum graph gone completely flat for Bastia. So it looks as if Paris FC have got this one nailed, and a possible PSG v Paris FC in French League 1 next season. Wow, that could be interesting. Possible top place as well, but not on goal difference, but only on league points if Paris FC maintain this win. We can get rid of the Viscount League. I won't be trading that this early on. Racing Ferrol, I've got the advantage in the Spanish Segunda. We'll see how important that is. Come on, behave. Ferrol. So let's have a look at the importance of this, because don't forget, late on, you can always attack. You're going to see a lot of late goals this season, particularly at this age, at this stage of the season. Look at the importance of this. Racing Club Ferrol must take points, but there should really be a down arrow. They are increasingly adrift, Racing Ferrol. With a win today, 26, 36, and then 15-point gap out. I think they're down. Let's do a bit of Carol Vorderman maths. I think they're down. You've got to be careful with dead rubbers this stage of the season. We've already got a few of them turning up. We had a Cheltenham match. I think they're mid-table now. We had Birmingham yesterday. Yes, Trabzonspor odds on favourite taking the lead there. So Racing Ferrol and Eldenza. Let's just get a look here. So just having a look to see how many matches are left in Racing Ferrol's season. Plenty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They must win the next 5 consecutive matches at least, and then hope, of course, everyone else rolls over and gets their tummy tickled, because it's they'll need everyone else to conveniently lose as they go on a 5-game winning charge. It ain't going to happen, I think. You have to say bye-bye to this lot. 40 is your exit point. So watch out for Eldenza, a possible late charge from them. Don't forget, Racing Ferrol are at this stage of the season where they are because they are so pants. So do remember that. So let's bring that up. We might miss out on the win. 1.04, not going to cost you anything, is it? Still some breathing space left, but the motivation's huge for Eldenza just to get a point to wriggle out. Ferrol realistically have done. It cost you nothing to just see if there's going to be a hope. And there's still a glimmer while this retains in interest without decreasing. But I think I'm being far too well, hoping for far too much there. Right, I've lost my track. This is, there we go, good. Zero to 2, it's job done really, but for Bayern Munich, Heidenheim, desperate need for points, but looking like we can say ta-ra to that one. Rayo Vallecano and Valencia, again, this stage we need to look for a reason. Rayo Vallecano and Valencia. So the live standings as they are, Rayo Vallecano, yes, 2 points would be very nice for them, wouldn't they? They would be knocking on Mallorca's door. And that could be a catapult in to upgrading to Europa League football, while Celta Vigo maintain 43. So this could be an exciting win if Rayo Vallecano can manage it. So let's have a look. This is all what we're all about this stage of the season, isn't it? It's just motivation. It's just finding an angle in. So the draw at 1.14, we're getting to that stage where I like my 109, 106. We got that in with Cosenza that last week, didn't we? 100% profit. 109 and 1.06. This is my staple at this stage of the season to capture those late season-changing goals. That's what we're after, season-changing goals. An extra 2 points here, absolutely vital. So let's see if we can get a late goal captured there. So we'll be waiting on that one with interest. Just looks like Vallecano are going for it, doesn't it? Just marginally with that graph as it's rising. And the very quiet Bundesliga, we'll have a look at that very soon. We can take Paris FC off Trabzonspor as well. I don't think I'll be trading this one with the odds-on favourite leading already. Just keeping an eye on the else. Early stage of the season, probably not going to trade. We'll be trading during the summer along with the tennis. Werder Bremen and Bochum, just a one shot on target so far there. Again, it was a bit of a risk, wasn't it? But this has suddenly changed now from an increasing reaction to the goal from Mainz to now Wolfsburg coming back on top. This is a risky one. I'm only looking at the carrot of Champions League football for Mainz and hoping that that pulls them through to an equaliser. Don't forget, when you've done insurance, you can always cash out of both markets if it's not quite going as you anticipated. Freiburg and the Hoff haven't got the Scooby-Doo where the Hoff is concerned. Leipzig are vying for that Champions League spot along with Mainz. So 1.57 at home. Do note Holstein Kiel probably going to be putting up a bit of a defensive wall. So just watch that. Look at where they are in the league. So it's not going to be Leipzig's way, but they do have a superb home record against newly promoted sides. Sparta Prague could be worth following. So we'll just have them up here. And we'll be alerted to any goals anyway as they go through. And then we'll look at the in-play stats after that. Premier League on its way. New manager syndrome for West Ham. This is the only reason it's not 100% readable against the Saints, who are down. So Matt Le Tissier might get a game today. Even his dad might get a game today. Brentford and Brighton, 2.55 the favourite. This is a battle, or is it a battle for possible European entry point? 2.55 the favourite tells you the market didn't have a clue. I'm getting a bit annoyed with these whistles, so let me just put that to bed. I don't need to know when the matches finish. I just need to know when the goals come in. Let me just quiet that one just for a short while and come back to this. So Premier League, it's on a goal basis, particularly with Brentford Brighton being unreadable, Palace Bournemouth being unreadable, 2.5 the favourite, and a couple of heavy spankings for the Eagles as well. They need to bounce back. Using my very basic form pointer, quite obviously, Bournemouth coming into this. Snip the last two matches, coming into this in a bit of form. This could be a tight one. And indeed, where there is a David Moyes side, there's always a chance of a long, drawn-out 0-0 or 1-0. Manchester City are making that late haul for a guaranteed Champions League spot. And you expect them to give 100%. You can expect Kevin De Bruyne potentially to be a bit of value to get on the score sheet. This is a farewell tour. So watch out for the German with the wonderful coiffured hair. Nothing much at the moment. Just as I say, keep an eye out on Lecce. So let's do that, because Lecce have not the carrot, but the stick relegation. Como might have an air of complacency with them. They've done all of their good work early on, particularly with that late win against Roma prior to Ranieri. which I think triggered a bit of self-belief. If you can beat Roma away, you've got a chance with a lot of others. As you can see, we've got a big hole where the English lower leagues is concerned, but at least we've got the Premier League to keep us happy, so I might as well load them up on my watch list, even though it's got a degree of unreadability about it today, the Premier League. It's not a pre-match readable market, which means, of course, you're defaulting to the in-play stats, so that's what we'll be doing. Bochum Dano, really good start against Werder Bremen, isn't it? You can see that quite clearly, but no shots on target yet. 6 shots off target, 3 corners. Again, we need to be looking at the motivation element. We've got the goals coming in now. That finished 1-1, but we had enough of a story there to lay that late draw at very, very low liability. These are the matches which will make you a nice profit this stage of the season, coming to the end of April. Pick them out. We've already picked out 1 or 2, haven't we? Middlesbrough, the most recent profitable match. So we're getting a few of these ending now. And I think I've clicked on everything that I'm interested in to know the scores for. And as we'll see, there's more importance, I think, for the lower tiers with the playoffs. That's why last night was so important. Going up an extra league is such an important move for a club. They're going to be giving everything. European places are the only carrot left in the elite leagues, isn't it? Just those European places. So I'm just making sure we're not missing out any major leagues. I don't think we are. I've done all this before. Got it all sorted out. Don't think we've got Norway today. We'll find out if we do have the Norwegians. We've missed them. I think they had the cup last week. So let's see what we can do without a whole host of English 3 o'clock football, which is our usual feast. So if it is a little quiet, I will call it a day and move on to Telegram. But hopefully we'll have enough to excite us and get us a play. You can still see Bochum, and that's where I was heading before I distracted myself. Freiburg have the opener. And there's that equaliser for Mainz. So we did the right move there. We went with the Champions League possible. Bochum, how are they doing? Could they do with a win? How about Werder Bremen? Could they do with an extra 3 points? Werder Bremen have Europe in mind, and with Mainz possibly equalising, that could change their position over now. They'll be looking a little healthier on 47 if this is confirmed as a draw. Werder Bremen, you can see an extra 2 points for them, take them to 45, and they'll be queuing up nicely with Leipzig dangling Champions League place under the 50-point barrier, enticingly for Mönchengladbach, Werder Bremen, Dortmund and Augsburg if they can put together a run, as Werder Bremen are doing indeed. Look at that, 4 wins in 5. Superb stuff. That's why they're shooting up. Can they maintain that momentum? Does that make that 0-0 vulnerable? I think it might do. We're looking at Bochum though. What will a win do for Bochum? It'll give them a last gasp swing to get back into the Bundesliga with that relegation playoff place, won't it? Battling that with Heidenheim, we're already 2 goals down. So Bochum will be thinking to themselves, Heidenheim is a guaranteed loss. We've got to get ourselves a win today. But equally, there's a strong story for Werder Bremen, isn't there? Again, it's one of those you're going to target for a lay the draw, possibly at the beginning of the second half or as late into the second half as you can get. Don't forget, at this stage of the season, use time pressure. 80th minute, 85th minute, we had a whole host of goals come in Norway last year with teams that needed a draw, teams that needed a win, all coming 85th plus minute, and not coincidental. It was the last match of the season, so that's time pressure. And then you've got the last 15 minutes or the last 5 minutes, that's time pressure. And they turn up. So Bochum are needing it. They're running out of matches as well. Let's have a quick look at Bochum. So I hope you're all okay over on YouTube. Hi, Mr. Pink. Hope you're well. Having a rest from Reservoir Dogs. So we just want to see how many matches are left for Bochum. They're on 29. I'll just confirm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we seem to be okay. 20 points. 29. While St. Pauli are under 30, Bochum still are in with a shout. So there's plenty motivation. So let's head back because we're not hearing many goals. So a quick look at the scores on the Diana doors. Nothing coming in. We've got the 3 o'clock's about to begin. Leuven are playing Dender, newly promoted Dender. This is split, I think, into, yeah, indeed, this is a conference league element. So get a bit confused with this section of the season. In some European leagues, they split maybe into championship, relegation, or there even conference league, Europa League, championship, Champions League parts of the league. So I'm not sure what's going on or whether there's a motivating factor, but we will see. I only highlighted it because I know Dender are newly promoted, so they could have a target on their back. Difficult Premier League today. 2.55 Brentford and Brighton, 2.50 Crystal Palace and Bournemouth. Watch out for an over-defensive Crystal Palace in front of home support. You will not be wanting a spanking in front of your home support. Ouch. Ooh, that's going to hurt in the morning. 10 goals conceded in the last 2. So watch out for a sudden lurch now for Crystal Palace. Wouldn't be surprised if this was 0-0 at half time. You tend to see that after heavy spankings, particularly when you've got a home match. You do not want to be conceding 2 or 3 matches and then letting this get out of your sight. Confidence will be sapped hugely. Oh man, 10 goals shipped in 2 matches, and they don't even have Onana in goal. They haven't got that excuse. Half time in Serie A, we'd be looking for some kind of a reaction from Lecce, given their league position, given Como's relative safety, particularly with 2 consecutive wins now, really purring nicely under Cesc Fabregas. If they can build on this during the summer, he can build on his managerial reputation. It's miles ahead of Ruud van Nistelrooy and Wayne Rooney, football genius. Elfsborg, probably not going to be playing this one. There's not enough matches in the Allsvenskan just yet for us to get too excited. But you saw that sudden interest at the end of the first half from the Elf. Can they pick up that momentum second half? Similar story, Norrköping, little to talk about. Pendikspor and San Liorafspor. I think this is a case of that Turkish League 1 side just being out of it. I think they've got a huge points deduction. Any old angle we can find. So let's see if we can find Pendikspor. There they are. And San Liorafspor. So we're just going to have a look. Goal disallowed already for Pendikspor. San Liorafspor are leading, which is the important angle, but we're not going to get much value given Pendikspor were odds on despite the lead. So what I'm looking for really are the standings. I think it's got a notification at the bottom here. It's Yeni Malatyaspor minus 21 points, so I'm getting that mixed up. Certainly, you've got to be very wary about taking on San Liorafspor. This is their life raft, this 1-0 lead. It's bringing Manisa into the equation, isn't it? They won the last match. If they can hold on to this 40 41 is you're out. And there's no playoffs for the relegation zone. A similar story for Pendikspor, just breathed some life into that gap between them and Sanliurfspor. So intriguing match. It does suggest an insurance play, but it also suggests it might be lacking any real liquidity. When we've got the Premier League here, I don't think we should be getting too carried away with a newly promoted Pendikspor. So if you were to play, you can see just lacking that liquidity there. +1 for Pendikspor, 1.73, a bit short. Right, I've got to remember my Mainz play, if they did equalise, I'm not sure if they did or not. So you could lay Sanliurfspor at 2.44. You can see it's not really worth doing, is it? Look at the huge gaps. You're not getting much out of this, but it'd be an interesting exercise. I think what we'll be seeing will be an equaliser and a possible push on from Pendikspor. So let's work our way down. Be looking at potential there. The odds are looking good at half time, aren't they? They were odds on just before, just after Sanliurfspor led. Onus is on Bochum to do something today, and indeed Werder Bremen. So that 0-0 for me should be targetable. I think there might be some second half scoring with Werder Bremen. If you note, they scored second half last match to get a winner. They scored second half the match prior to that to get to cement a win. They scored 2 second half goals against Holstein Kiel. They did all of their scoring in the first half against Mönchengladbach, and they scored second half against. There we go. There's that Mainz goal. So I hope that sticks. We can have a look at the position then. Bayer Leverkusen and Werder Bremen, again, second half goal. I like what I'm seeing for the potential to take that on. Add an additional recipe, the potential to have an assault on Europe. Bochum need points as well. We've got two sides who don't want draws, who don't do draws. Where's that D? So eye that one. Second half, take that 0-0 on. You can do it by laying over 0.5 goals if you want. You could do that now. Preempt. If you want to take insurance, of course, you don't have to. So laying over 0.5 goals, very cheap. And I would do it to win £20 in this instance. And this is what I call a sit on it play. I'm expecting a second half goal, but I'm also expecting the potential tightness given Bochum need to win, and I don't need to concede, because if they concede, they need to score 2. They've got to keep this at 0-0. Then you just sit on this, lay the draw for £20 liability at as low odds as you can get. We showed you last week could have got a free lay of the draw at 1.07. And you imagine that with a £20 liability, we're talking 3 figures. So it's a bit of fun, but Werder Bremen have a very, very strong second half scoring pattern. 2, they've got the motivation we're looking for, don't they? Motivation increases more for me in the second tiers, but a European place would be very nice indeed. They've got huge motivation coming into this as well. Let's have a look at our Mainz position. It should be very rosy. They've got that Champions League carrot, while Leipzig is still 0-0. And you can see you can start building up a green here. That is a very decent return. So that's very tempting. +1 as well. You could almost nail that one, couldn't you? So you're going to get less than the +1 because you've got the draw covered. Oh, well. Have we got the 2? Yes, we just got a 2-1, I think. So fair enough. I got out of the correct market. Can you imagine if I got out of this one? This is why I've got this at £4. I'm trying to tempt you to stay in to the death and hope for a 61. And by doing so as well, you can also get rid of that major liability there by just backing that. We'll wait for that 2-1. That's excellent stuff. This is what I'm talking about. The carrot. The carrot. It's such a big carrot. Nope, they haven't got through. So options at exit. You can lock your profit in now, and then you don't have to worry about whether mites have it in them to get an equaliser or not. And I would completely ignore this. Betfair have never got this correct. So do not rely on Betfair. That's why we got Soccer 24. So you can nail this 38 quid and say to yourself, doesn't matter what happens now. I've got this before half time. Boom. At the very least, if you're going to stay in, due consideration for getting rid of that bigger liability. And you can do that with the variable profit Dutching like this. See how much of your bank, of your potential profit is going to take. And if you want to level off the playing field at a £4 level loss, it's only going to cost you £4.85. So that's, if you're going to stay in, is a very wise exercise, isn't it? And all the while, this green screen will remain. It will start to denigrate, so you've always got an exit if you can't see a mites winner coming. But that's a very nice position to be in, isn't it? I must say hello to Telegrammers because you're probably wondering, it's a Saturday, but I'll just tell them there's no great English invasion today. Good afternoon. You might want to wonder why it's a little quiet. It's because we're missing all of the 3 o'clocks. We had all of them last night. So just going to have the odd play, if there is any here or there throughout what is probably going to be a quieter Saturday than usual. Just wanted to let you know I'm up and about. And the live stream is on YouTube as well if you want to pop along. So that's a nice position that. I can know now that my maximum loss will be this minus my insurance that I took out earlier on. For about 7 quid. If I'm willing to take that 7 quid hit, I can leave this pipe and slippers job now. They can score. I'm expecting them to be motivated enough to score, but you just never know. Brentford have the opening goal against Brighton in a match which is, I haven't got a clue. Last week we did a neutral live stream on a Sunday, didn't we? So you might want to be thinking as well, if you're having plays, have a think about a neutral angle. What is neutral? Neutral is when both teams are playing for you. A draw, for example, is a neutral play. Laying the draw late on is a neutral play. Backing 2-2, perhaps, is a neutral play because it's got both teams working for you and it will still react regardless of who scores. Laying a correct score is a neutral play because it will die as soon as a goal is scored, etc. All the overs markets, of course, all neutral. And of course, it will help the heartache. It'll help the heartache, particularly if your underdog goes 2 goals up and you've already got involved. So have a think about neutral. There are neutral alternatives to every play. So do have a think about them. Mostly in the overs markets, I would suggest. Leipzig, well, they've conceded first. This is a tricky one now. Very tricky because we know Holstein Kiel have plenty to play for. That's the concern here. We've got plenty of goals coming in as well. I don't think that Mainz goal has stood because there wouldn't be 1.4, I don't think, with a lead, but we'll confirm that. I thought they'd be a bit nearer to 1.1, but we'll wait and see. So a lead for Holstein Kiel, but do note the standings. I think they could be a tough team to push off. Don't forget, it's Heidenheim they're after. One last shot at staying up with that relegation playoff place. So they might be a tough side to get, today, maybe if you are to play, and if you do trust Leipzig, who remember have an extremely impressive record against these sides. Is that an actual lead? The graph will tell us. So that's the concession. That's waiting and waiting for the equaliser. That's the first equaliser. That's the second. So I'm going to be getting out. I have a tendency to get out if we got given this gift before half time. So I'm not. Why am I getting out? I've already engineered this. Sorry, my brain's not working. Oh dear. That's Trump's tariffs for you. I shouldn't have done that because I've already sorted my position out. But if you do get a gift like that and it's already done and dusted by half time, please get out. Any profit you see is not realised, is it? It's potential. It's not in your betting bank. So let's have a look at our blues at the moment. We're looking for some sign of life from Lecce, but you can see their recent record is awful. You can see Como are coming into this as the form side with 2 consecutive wins compared to a loss and a draw. So we'd be looking keenly on them. Elfsberg did have a little inkling for them today, but as I say, watching brief throughout. Early in the Allsvenskan, it is, along with tennis, going to be our summer involvement. San Liurafspor. Well, I don't think we'll be getting involved. Let's not bother with that one. This is winding up nicely for a neutral play. A lay the draw. Well, the Hoff have a goal back, but again, it's not a match I'm greatly interested in, to be perfectly honest with you. Maybe if the Hoff scored first, given again the carrot. They've done their work, the Hoff, to stay up. Just that little carrot. They might be a little bit too near again, the relegation zone. I'm not too sure. I'll have to double check that. Well, we're St. Pauli on 29. They're just above the relegation zone. The Hoff need to broaden that gap and stay or move up the 30 board. It's as simple as that. So there's still work to be done for the mighty Hoff. Leipzig, well, they haven't really set the world alight, have they? 2 consecutive wins, though, against Hoffenheim and Wolfsburg saw. Then they did score 2 goals before half-time in those 2 matches. They'd be a little disappointed. Holstein Kiel, though, score and concede without winning. So I think we've got a potential play here. Again, carrot and stick. The problem is there's still a carrot for Holstein Kiel, and we have to potentially play on the potential for a 0-2. So let's see what we can see, and I'm just going to make sure you're all okay over on YouTube. Hi, Michael. It seems that you're not getting my telegram. Okay. Are you a member to start with? My apologies. I don't know if you are or not. Do please email me, Michael. What really wins at yahoo.co.uk, and I'll get my colleagues onto that immediately for you, Michael. Okay. So my apologies for that. I'll have your email address there, so I'll have a look, see if I can get you a Telegram link as well there, Michael. So while we have a bit of a hiatus, I'll just see if I can sort out a coding for you. So let me just get back to the goals as they come in on the starred matches. We want to be looking for any changes in the standings, don't we? Premier League, nothing really to interest Brentford and Brighton. Well, that's more interesting from the mighty Hoff. I wouldn't have taken on a 2-0 lead for Freiburg. Looking at motivating factors, Manchester City, it's clear for all to see. Chelsea and Aston Villa are queuing up for that last Champions League spot. Manchester City need to cement it. They can do so with an extra 2 points today. With Nottingham Forest on a 2-match losing run as well, that will be something for Aston Villa and Bournemouth to be noting, because they are the worst form side of the top 6, Forest at the moment. Bournemouth on 0-0 something could motivate them. 50 plus points will motivate them. That's where European football is at. An extra 2 points today will take them into that bracket 51. So that 0-0 for Bournemouth does have that carrot of European football. And once you're into the 50-point gap, you can work your way up, upgrade, Conference League, Europa League, Champions League. It's all there once you're in that 50-point club, but they're not there yet. Crystal Palace, well, thankfully for Crystal Palace and for Brentford, the bottom three are so Danny dire that they're not going to be worrying, and they're not going to be looking. Although you can see it in the picture, Aston Villa in 7th, but they are 57 points. I don't think it's doable for Crystal Palace. It depends if they go on an unlikely winning run. 44, 47, 50 is where they need to get. They can get there with 2 consecutive wins. And with enough of these sides picking up L's with the pressure, they might be able to zoom up. But it depends on Aston Villa in an exceedingly solid run. Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton must start getting something, or you're going to see them down, aren't you? So that's how the Premier League looks at the moment. The side with the greatest motivation for me is Bournemouth and Manchester City, just for those European places. The bottom 3 are so far adrift, I don't think there's any realistic worry for those sides above the bottom 3. So West Ham, something to look forward to for next season, I think. Everton, you're going to give Man City a tough afternoon, aren't you? It's not going to be a goal fest with Mr. Moyes in town. So while we're looking at that, I'll just see if I can get a Telegram link on my telephone. So excuse me. There should be an invitation link I can send. I might have to just wait until I'm not distracted. Settings. No, I'm going to have to go back to that. My apologies. I'll have to wait till I finish the live stream. I'm sure I can figure it out and help Michael out. So Mainz got the lead already. That's what we were looking for. That carrot is huge, isn't it? We haven't seen. Oh, we have seen the Bundesliga live standings currently. So Leipzig, I think, could be something for us to target. So let's have a look at that one. Even though it would not surprise me at all if we got yet another one of those 0-2 wins. They have been occurring a lot, and for good reason. You want to cement your win. So again, laying over 1.5 goals for my £40. So we'll make sure that's matched. And it's half time, so you've got plenty of time. And I go either one of 2 routes. If I'm impressed with the +1, I will stay there. So if the difference between that and the +1 is reasonable, I'll go in. I would say this is probably be 1.7. 1.8, there we go. That for me is reasonable enough to stay in. So don't forget, this is an either or. I'm showing you both elements. +1 is a safety net. It's also a safety net at 0-2 because if you can get a 1-2, you can actually get out of this near enough a break even. So don't forget, you've got the draw covered here. That's why you're not getting paid as much. Those of you who want to take a greater risk, you split your stake into 2. You'll be backing Leipzig with European ambitions, with Mainz leading. You'll be laying Holstein Kiel at near evens, which is very good value for a side 18th in the league. Now, you might want to take out additional insurance. Don't forget they were 9-1 earlier. So that's very good value, considering only a half has gone. Insurance, should the unlikely occur, and they get a second goal and hold on to it. Both teams to score, no. A great idea of John H's. Will eat into your profits. That's the problem, particularly at these odds. You can sometimes get it at 6s or 7s. That would be both teams to score, no. It will give you a profit if it remains 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4. Normally I do correct score as well. 1-2. That's reasonable enough. That gives you carte blanche then to go into the match odds and have a tilt at that 70 quid. But if you were to get to a draw, you'll be starting to accumulate losses. 14 quid with that. 5 with that. You can hear what the dogs think about that. Goodness me. Oh, they're all at it now. They love a bit of Leipzig, these dogs. You can hear that in the background. So Lecce and Como, we're still waiting for that push. Don't they know 3 points awaits and a possible saving season? I'm about to sneeze, so oh, excuse me. So Werder Bremen, Bochum, plenty to play for. I will be laying that draw at some point. Mainz and the Wolf, Europe to play for. Freiburg and Hoff, still a little bit too near the relegation zone for their liking, the Hoff, albeit they are in 30-plus point zone. Leipzig will be looking at an assault on Europe because Mainz are leading. Just have a quick look there. Mainz, 46 plus 3 is 49. Leipzig, 49. Goal difference, negligible. So Mainz might just nick it for that 4th spot. Plenty for Leipzig, but again, plenty for Holstein Kiel. That's the concern. It's got a feeling of a 0-2 if Leipzig don't pull their finger out second half. But like Werder Bremen, do they have a second half record? Well, they have scored a single second half goal in the last 3 matches, so that's positive. I'm going to have to get a drink. So excuse me for a sec. Half time is as good a time as any. So I'll be back in a sec. Okay. I'll just line the throat, thanks. Right, again, in play stats, if you're going to be looking at the Champions League, the Premier League today, given the poor pre-match odds. Brighton, you can see, starting to wake up against Brentford. I'm not sure there's any real carrots or sticks. Brighton and Brentford. I don't see much, but let's have a look. Well, Brighton and Brentford 48. It's just that it's that 54 for Villa, which is a relative safety zone, isn't it? But certainly Brighton could do with the win. That would break that 50-point barrier, wouldn't it? Brentford must take points off Brighton to remain within striking distance of them. Should Aston Villa start cocking it up, but it's looking unlikely. The only way you can break in and have an assault on Villa is with a 50-plus point bank, and that's what Brighton will get with a win today. So add that to your list. Brighton motivation, certainly Man City motivation as well today. So some big stuff. And indeed, Brentford must take points off Brighton too. Motivation throughout. Aston Villa and Newcastle, these two huge form sides, and look at that. Wow, that tells you a big story, doesn't it? So just have a walk down the leagues, see if there's anything catching the eye. Any odds on favourites who are a goal down? Freiburg, well, I don't have an opinion, but it looks as if these two are keen for the win. That Desmond might be layable second half. Certainly Leipzig, you'll be looking at some assault on that 0-1 second half. Werder Bremen, similarly, you'll be looking at that win. Look for a win. 3 points crucial for a European push. Bochum, 3 points crucial for a tilt at a promotion playoff place. Working our way down, Barcelona already leading against Celta Vigo, likely to be the title holders. Superb season throughout, late into the Champions League as well. Deep into the Champions League is a better way of saying it. Huesca and Racing Santander, carrot or stick? Let's have a look. Particularly at this stage of the season, look at this for the carrots. Huesca must remain within striking distance of these two to avoid the heartbreak of the playoffs. Racing Santander already on 60 with a win will go to 63. Not necessarily on goal difference automatic promotion, but will be again within striking distance of top. So watch out for Racing Santander and Huesca here. Huge motivation to maintain the win and to get the equaliser. That's one for my shortlist for sure. So I'm going to be finding that Huesca match. Let's have a look down into Spain. KTP, SJK, I'll keep an eye out as well, just out of interest. Look like they're dominating their fixture against Mariehamn. They are going to be one of the top 2 or 3 sides this summer in the Veikkausliiga. So a very worthy league. So have I missed my match? I keep talking and then I forget what I'm looking for. Yeah, Barcelona, Celta Vigo. No, I wasn't looking at that one, was I? Any reminders what I was looking at, please? I've got a Joe Biden moment at the moment. So where was I heading off? And we just got an equaliser for Celta Vigo. So we might be able to see something there. Telegram seems to be delayed. Oh, my apologies. Right, thank you very much about Telegram. I'm going to ask my colleagues to look into this then. Right. It could be a Wi-Fi issue. That's a pity. I had an excellent session yesterday. Could be a Wi-Fi issue, I think. If all of the telegrams are all being sent in one lump, then it could be that Wi-Fi wasn't working correctly on my telephone, which is where I do most of the verbal ones. So I've got to make sure I'm on again. So just have a quick test. Just a Telegram test. So those of you watching YouTube, if you could just say yes, you got this, and just tell me how quick it came to you. Thank you. So I've sent you a message. Let me know if that arrives. And I hope we can be up and running. So my apologies for that. Must have been a Wi-Fi issue. That's the only reason. You'd have got a whole clump of them at the one time. So hopefully we're back up and running with Telegram. Just came through. Thank you very much. So it looks as if we've got that sorted. Thanks for letting me know. That's excellent. Celta Vigo now, Barcelona, and Huesca. That's what I was looking for. Huesca. So we're going to look at Barcelona as well. We've got that equaliser now. And Huesca. We're going to look at see if Racing Santander can give a push to equalise. You can see where those two are. And you can see that dangling of those top 2 places in the Secunda. This is one of those matches you really want to get your teeth into, particularly if you get a very, very late draw as well, or an 80th minute 1-1, and then the motivation, got to take 3 points off your near rival. We don't want the playoffs. We want automatic promotion. The only way we can do that is with 3 points. So that's where these draws are hugely vulnerable late on. And they do pull the rabbit out the hat quite a lot of the time. SJK looking good. Watching brief for me. Likely to be vying for the title. Let's just have a look at some of our peripherals. So I hope you're all okay over on YouTube and you got that telegram nice and quick. Yeah. Thank you very much, Michael, for pointing it out. So I'll make sure that there are no Wi-Fi issues on the telephone when I'm doing the telegram on that. Dega Fours don't have an opinion with that. Don't think we need to follow that. So let's have a look on an update. As you can see, it's very quiet, isn't it? Missing all of the Championship, League One and League Two. Premier League, tough coupon today. Absolutely no surprises. New manager syndrome, West Ham. New manager syndrome, Everton. 2.5 at the favourite, Palace and Bournemouth. Palace lacking motivation. 10 goals conceded last 2 matches. No surprise, this is 0-0. You cannot afford to concede another 2+ goals today if you're an Eagles player. It's a shock to the system, 10 goals in 2, but let's face it, playing 2 Champions League bound sides, Palace. So Premier League, snooze fest. It's one of those, if you see a multitude of 0-0s, it makes sense to start laying the draw second half in the expectation this will start, these 0-0s will start to dissipate second half. It's always an angle. It's just a hit and hope angle, isn't it, really? Playing the probability that it's not going to end 3 consecutive 0-0s and a 1-0. So a little bit quiet in the Premier League. Just because it's a big league, it doesn't mean you have to play it, does it? We're going to have plenty of opportunities, particularly Championship, League One, League Two, with the playoffs brewing nicely. So that's going to leave us in a very tidy position with these matches. It's important to know the amount of matches left as well, because you have to figure out mathematically whether you're involved with a dead rubber or not. This is what I've been waiting for Lecce. You can see a sudden slight upturn in fortunes. Couple of quick shots on target, couple of shots off target, and 3 corners. So warming up nicely. And they have importantly kept Cesc Fabregas' side on snooze mode since the 35th minute. 51st minute, 20 minutes ago for a shot off target. No corners since the 29th. So it's a good chipping away from Lecce, isn't it? Chipping away nicely. I would be concerned if I was taking Como on here that they might score a second given Lecce's league position and the fact that they're on a winning sequence. 1-0 against Torino and 3 goals against Monza, who are down already. So good results and a clean sheet to boot as well. But they have had trouble with that second goal prior to that Como win, that Monza win. And again, bottom Monza. So flatters them a little bit. So maybe we might be able to take them on as far as a possible Lecce equaliser is concerned. But if that blue keeps staying above the brown and they can keep chipping away at these shots on and off, we've got an outside chance of laying Como at as late as we dare and at as low odds as we can. Second half has begun. Werder Bremen and Bochum. So let me show you my technique there. The big negative with the technique, of course, an early goal. Kill off your insurance. But if you get a concerted 0-0, you'll be able to lay that draw and get a really good multiple. So we're starting to see a bit of green turning up. So I've got £19.60 to play with. It's all a matter of when do I get involved. The longer I can wait, the lower the draw odds. They were 3.3, weren't they, when we last looked? Now they're at 2.78. Now don't forget, we're playing with 19. If you had a bigger stack, of course, your returns would be far greater. Draw odds dropping nicely. That, I suspect, will be half-time. So 3s for half-time, and hopefully we'll start getting this degradation down. Keep the match tight. You might see some late action. Werder Bremen have a good second-half scoring record, very consistent, and Bochum need to win. So every moment we're waiting, we're ticking, we're getting better returns. The only way this can lose is with a score draw once you've entered the lay the draw phase. So it's a nice little idea. And if you're playing neutral, of course, laying the draw is neutral. So that's a way for you to think about it. Only the single shot on target for both of these two. Defences seem to be on top. Only the single corner for Werder Bremen. So Bochum obviously have something up their sleeve tactically, don't they? They're stifling the life out of Werder Bremen. Freiburg and the Hoff. I don't play the Hoff. I don't play Man United. I don't play teams that I don't know. I do play Man United if I lay them, of course, against Lyon, which we did with great success. Leipzig need to wake up as well. One shot on target, 3 off 2 corners. While Wolfsburg, while Mainz are leading, aren't they vulnerable? Isn't their Champions League spot vulnerable? Let's just confirm. I thought they were vulnerable. There we go. Yes, indeed. Mainz have upgraded with that win to 49 points. That's why we back them. That motivation, rather than any form they're showing or the pre-match odds. Now look at Leipzig. That's why we're trying to invest in them, because if they get the win, they will break into the 51-point barrier. Once you're in the 50s, you've got a relative safety from all of those 40 and above. So that's the motivation for Leipzig. But similarly, this is absolutely crucial for Holstein Kiel. You fear they're doomed if they can't break out of the sub-20 bracket. St. Pauli need to go on a bit of a poor run to be caught. They are the form side of the bottom 4, and it's really paid off, hasn't it? Handsomely for St. Pauli. That recent win as well against Holstein Kiel was a relegation 6-pointer, if ever there was one, wasn't it? I think we got involved in that one. Werder Bremen, there we go. And I've missed the goal. I've missed the lay. But it was one, wasn't it, to lay the draw. Lots and lots of good backstory. Plenty to motivate, and you'll see the difference as well. Thank you, Michael. And thanks, Stephen. Hopefully, Telegram is cured now. I've got to be careful if we have downtime with the Wi-Fi and I'm still rabbiting on Telegram. So that was the goal we were looking for, Werder Bremen. And you'll see now the huge difference that makes. So these 0-0s are gettable second half, aren't they? These draws are gettable second half. Dutch scored the goal. Looking at the standings now, you'll see the importance of this. It takes them within striking distance of Freiburg. That 2-2 is becoming even more important for Freiburg now as well, to broaden the gap between them and Werder Bremen. And it's also a troubling for Freiburg because they've conceded 2 goals. If they lose, they'll be dropping to 45. And it will be negligible, the goal difference. And then Werder Bremen will really have a foot in the European door, maintaining this win. So that's why we lay that draw second half. Bochum, you fear now. 20, I thought they'd beat down to 19. Sorry, it was just a draw, wasn't it? They were on earlier on. You fear they're doomed, Mr. Mannering, but while they're still within striking distance of 16th, they live in eternal hope. The eternal hope of the relegation threatened fan. We've got a VAR for the Werder Bremen goal, so I have to wait on that. Might give me some respite if I can lay the draw. Do get out of your minds, I think, with Wolfsburg potentially putting an assault on that 2-2. We rode our luck with the win before half-time. We were playing the motivation factor, despite the in-play stats not being emphatic. And I would get out of jail there. Leipzig yet to wake up, but we're seeing a small sight of blue. SJK 1-0. They might have a potential play there, just for a bit of fun, in the Veikkausliiga. As you can see, the in-play stats dominating SJK. Problem we have is that we're likely to face liquidity issues. SJK should be on your radar this summer. Going to be one of the reliables, I think. As ever, do your insurance, or maybe not at these odds. Taking the proverbials. 12-second delay. Well, I hope it remains. We've got to wait for confirmation of the Werder Bremen goal. Just wait for this to tighten up. This is a problem with the liquid markets. Look awful. I might be barking up the wrong tree with the Veikkausliga. It's going to become more liquid as these summer leagues, as these winter leagues disappear. So don't worry. But it's worth trying to read the matches now. Get to know the sides, get to know their personalities. Because KUPS are the kind of side who can come from 2 goals down. That kind of a unit. Well worth knowing this summer. Half time in the Premier League. Wouldn't be laying the draw. West Ham and Southampton, although I don't think West Ham are troubled, to be perfectly frank. Getting away with it in 17th because the bottom 3 are so poor. Southampton are down, so they can put out the youth. I would hope they're putting out the youth today, although other teams will be expecting them to be putting out a first 11, of course, for fairness. Brighton, it's up to you if you play the in-play stats or not. 41 dangerous attacks to 15 is quite compelling. And that's the Desmond 2-2 ending Freiburg and the Hoff. So that had motivation behind it. Did you play it? Plenty on both sides as well. Hoffenheim a bit too near that relegation zone still, but thankfully their relegation threatened sides are poor. Lecce coming to pull the trigger or not territory for them. 81st minute. They have been the dominant second half side, but dominant is a bit of a strong word for this performance. It's not exactly dominant second half. Looks like they've been kept at arm's length by Como. Not a 2-goal side, so they'll be happy to take the 3 points and move further up the league and cement Cesc Fabregas's excellent season as manager. Werder Bremen goal does not look as if it's stuck, so that could be a trouble, or maybe not for me. I have a reprieve, so let's go back. There we go, that's a little better. SJK +1 is going to be too skinny. I would say 1.5, 1.64. That's okay. We go match odds with them. 3.45 and 2.54. Reasonable enough, but you can see the difference between the back and the lay odds, particularly for this. It's the price you pay. Was deserved. Was deserved. I did say 2.5 the favourite. If you're going to be playing, play with the in-play stats. 43 dangerous attacks to 16. Compelling stuff for Brighton, but not for me. I don't have a strong opinion, I'm afraid. They're on a bit of a really poor run as well. Both sides have a bit of a poor run. Como, I'm just they're the ones of most important because it's getting nearer to the match. 9 corners, 10 shots. We need to see that spike upwards for the blue coming to the end of the match, like this. That spike up. Start seeing the attacking pressure index rise. Can't they see? Even a draw will help. Werder Bremen and Bochum. I've got my ideas. You can see Bochum really going for it today, aren't they? But they could be caught on the break by a very, very informed Werder Bremen. So it's an intriguing match. That's what I love about neutral. Both teams playing for you. Not bad, is it? Leipzig haven't woken up yet. Are they looking like they're having one of their off days, or due deference perhaps to Holstein Kiel putting together one of their better performances defensively? Must win Holstein Kiel. Como have done it now. There we go. Dot the I's, cross the T's. Let's say we're just not adding to the second half dominance, if you can call it that. I was looking for a late assault, but they didn't turn up, did they? Now Bochum are getting interested. 7 corners. They are the dominant side. 38 dangerous attacks to 11. Secondary stats are good as well, but shots on target are severely lacking. But the fact we had a VAR goal for Werder Bremen signals they could be on cue for the usual second half scoring pattern. You've also got another route to second half scoring patterns, and that's soccerstats.com. So you can head off to the Werder Bremen match and you can target specifically a goal period where you think, or the stats say, a goal is more likely to be scored and more likely to be conceded. So we need to see view stats and matches for both teams, work our way down, and here it is. Don't forget, home for the home side and away for the away side. And what have we got for the home side? 7 goals scored at home in the last 15 minutes of home matches. Stands out like a sore thumb. Great finishes. What have we got for Bochum Dano? 14 goals conceded in the last half hour of away matches. Now can you see 75th minute would be a reasonable target entry point, wouldn't it, for the draw in the Werder Bremen match? Makes sense? You don't want to be getting involved or not to have laid that draw by the time we get to that 75 minutes, which is where Werder Bremen, maybe in training, they're focusing on finishing strongly. Maybe it's a concerted tactic. You see all the time specific patterns with certain teams, and it's not coincidental. So we're 75 minutes for me, I'm looking at. If we can get that 0-0 75 minutes, we're getting to that period of the match now where statistically Bochum are more likely to concede. In fact, that's now 60th plus minute, and Werder Bremen more likely to score. So that's brewing up nicely. Leipzig have not turned up. I've got the 0-2 covered. I'm not expecting Holstein Kiel to win 5 or 6-0. Maybe they can get away with a 0-2. But this, folks, is why we do insurance. And let me just show you the flexibility of insurance when a match is not going quite how you read the script. So by taking out insurance, you've got a £6 profit here. When you go to Leipzig +1, should have a £6 loss here. So you can actually get out of these two markets now with an effective break even. You say to yourself, look, they're not showing up. I don't want to have this liability. But to be perfectly honest, we've got the both teams to score no covered as well. So that's okay. So you could actually get out now for a profit. Both teams to score no. £8 profit. Break even there. And minus £1.46 there. Come out with a £7 profit. Not too shabby. So Werder Bremen, Bochum, we know all about Bochum winding it up. 75th minute plus is where Werder Bremen will start to bite. Bochum have to survive. This is the part of matches where away from home they are extremely defensively frail. Second half will be beginning in the Premier League. I've just got zero interest, to be honest. A Palace red card. Always play that. Let's try an idea with draws with red cards. Let's just see if I'm barking up the wrong tree. So 1.26 to lay over 0.5 goals. That covers the 0-0. Laying the draw. 3.25 currently. Okay, so now this works better when you've got a team leading and they've been red carded. So I always get that mixed up. When I see that red card, that draw does look very good, doesn't it? Because you're guaranteed, if the team with 11 score first, you're almost guaranteed double figures for the draw. It's doubly impacted by the red, so it might be worth your while to lay that draw. Can Bournemouth pull it off? Problem is, Palace will be keen still with 10 men to at least be honest in front of defence, in front of home support, with those 10 goals conceded recently. So an intriguing red card. We'll wait and see. Sparta Prague have the lead against Pardubice. I don't think that's a surprise. And I'll be looking for an SJK equaliser for sure. Watching for Racing Santander. Any reaction? This is a top 4 clash. This is a huge carrot. Automatic promotion. These two are up for with 3 points. So that's why you're seeing Racing Santander's reaction as well. Dare we take on Huesca's lead? Maybe if we can get to 1-0 at half time, we can investigate further. Barcelona, 1-1. I would expect a little bit of something from them, unless fatigue's going to be catching up with them. That recent L, I think, was a second leg loss, wasn't it? So it's no great alarm. It's not showing up. Okay. I think it was a second. It could be a later draw second half. Just have a look at the team as well. Maybe they're resting one or two, given the recent fixtures. I'll just make sure you're all okay over on YouTube. Everything going all right. So I might say goodbye to you a little bit early today, because I don't think we need to wait for the 4:45 because there aren't any. So we might have to just survive the Bundesliga. So let's work our way down. Austrian Bundesliga might be of interest today. There's only 2 matches and they're similar odds to the Palace match, aren't they? So all dependent on what the in-play stats bring us. Any other leagues of interest? Not really. Czech 1 league. Sparta Prague have the lead. All the usual. Slavia Prague 1-0 lead at 1.03 odds. Expecting 3 or 4 from them today. And the lower tiers in England, we're not going to be playing. Had all of those yesterday. Veikkausliiga, I'll be watching for an SJK equaliser. French League 1, Le Havre must take points off PSG, who maybe already are the title holders. Must win Le Havre. 2 wins in 3. Going to be hoping PSG put out some of the squad players, give them a runabout. Any importance? Well, Desmond has gone in the Freiburg match. Heidenheim are, well, Bayern are out of sight. Mainz with the lead have the Champions League place. Just Leipzig, the missing piece of the jigsaw. 3-0 now for Como. It's all fallen apart for Lecce, and I'm afraid that's looking like that, isn't it? Lecce look like they're on the way down. Vitesse Arnhem given a huge points deduction, weren't they, this season? Don't have a strong opinion there. So they might be in a false position, Vitesse, of course. None of the big boys are out in Portugal. And the Scottish Championship, probably too illiquid to play. But if you do follow Scottish football, it's there for you. Championship more liquid than the League One and League Two. But I wouldn't be playing. You're always fighting liquidity issues. And more importantly, fighting trust issues, with the likes of Clyde dominating Scottish League 2. But whenever I play, they start losing 2 or 3-0 despite dominating the matches. So I've learnt my lesson with Right Turn Clyde. So that's it at the moment, just waiting for second half to begin. Well, there's no great interest, so I'll probably call it a day after the Bundesliga has settled. Premier League is just a tough league today. Everton and Man City, this could end 0-0, couldn't it? David Moyes, dare I say more. What we can do, we can dig out soccer stats and have a look at second half expectations for recent performances under Moyes. So let's have a look. So we've got this 0-0 at half time. Manchester City still have that Champions League to cement. So they're going to be hugely motivated. You can bet. So let's have a look. So just recent, 0-0 at half time, 0-0 at half time, 0-0 at half time. Did see second half goals, but they look very laboured, don't they? 67th minute, 57th minute, 49th, and that was a penalty. And 90th minute winner. That latter is a David Moyes blueprint, isn't it? That's exactly what he's after. He's after that today. 0-0 against Man United, so they can go away without scoring. They failed to score against Nottingham Forest as well. Only scored one goal. Only scored one against the Arse. And so recent away form is consistently poor in the scoring department for Manchester City as well. So Everton, you've got a problem with this 1-0 strategy for Moyes is you can see it's there in front of your eyes, 1-1. It's all very well going for a 1-0 win, but if you start conceding. There we go, we got the Leipzig goal. Again, motivation, motivation, motivation. You could have cashed out if you were just not feeling it. But are you sticking with that European motivation? So that's looking okay. We're up and running now. You will have lost £6 on insurance. So if you're going to cash out, that's a 14 quidder. That's about a third of liability returned. That's not too bad. Match odds starting to warm up. And again, you've got that incentive now, don't you? £3 on the draw to hopefully coax you in to win that 69 quid. Don't forget, you can always look at negating that biggest liability for using Dutching back facility and variable profit Dutching just to see. We can knock that down to 0. How much of an impact is that having? And on the draw, can we just knock the draw down, or are you willing to take a tenner hit on the draw? That is looking quite nice, isn't it? You've only taken really a 15 quid hit. 53 is a very decent return for what is a relatively risk-free hit at Leipzig. With 15 minutes to go. Problem is they might run out of time. That's why getting involved like that might be a decent idea. If we were left with 11 on the draw, that would be a pity. I could go in again. This stage of the season as well, I like this kind of technique because you can, despite them needing their desperate need for a win, sometimes they don't just pull it off. And you haven't left yourself with a loss on that draw. That is looking okay for me. 54 quid waiting in the wings. And we'll see if Leipzig can pull it off. And you can see the difference that single point will have made for Leipzig as they battle that placing with Mainz. So that's been our main battle today. If you're looking at the standings. Tussle, isn't it? They're equal now on points, 49 points each. It's advantage Leipzig with a win now because Mainz are at the highest they can get today, 49 points. Leipzig can go higher. They can go to 51 with a win. So that draw, vulnerable second half, isn't it? Or vulnerable as late as possible. It's that carrot. And West Ham have the lead against the Saints. It's academic. It's really a match of very little importance, to be perfectly honest. Having said that, it might condemn others. So that in that regard, its importance might be a little understated there, where the other three are concerned. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 matches remaining. That's 18 possible points. 18 possible points. Get the old Carol Vorderman maths out. So they're down. 18 and 18 is 36. But if Wolves get a win, that will condemn Leicester. Ipswich 21 plus 18 is 39. They can get out of it. But they're going to need a minor miracle and a win today. That West Ham win takes them a little bit further away. They're not going to be troubled, are they? Let's be honest. So it's an academic scoreline. I don't have an opinion at all on this one. So let's have a look. Werder Bremen and Bochum. Now we're entering Werder Bremen scoring territory. How much have I increased my possible returns now by waiting? Well, insurance is up to £9.17. So I can even take that, come out with a profit. Now, it's liability on this occasion. The draw, I can now make 27 quid. How about that? I'm going to take that because we're now entering the period of the match where Werder Bremen have shown consistent goal scoring form. So that's worked out very nicely. The only way I can lose possibly here now is if this ends in a score draw. So that's been a very good use of insurance in the second half market there to get in a late entry point in what is likely to be a tight match where they'll be looking for a 1-0 win either side. Leipzig have 11 minutes to have an assault at the Champions League spot and really cement themselves with 51 points with a single goal remaining. No opinion. Brentford, Brighton. No opinion. West Ham, Southampton. I'm Crystal Palace, Bournemouth. No opinion. Everton, Man City again. It's David Moyes, isn't it? It could end 0-0. It could be a 95th minute 1-0 like last match. It's what Moyes does. Racing Santander. Look out for the second half after a half-time team talk. This is a clash of two very informed top four sides, of course. So it's difficult to pick a lay of Huesca, really, who could push on, of course, with home advantage. But you'll be looking for an assault from Racing Santander second half with so much at stake. We're looking at an automatic promotion spot. Looks like normal service has been resumed for Paris Saint-Germain. And that's the goal. It's come. And it's come in that crucial time period. Talk about reading a match brilliantly. 75 minutes. Had the discipline to get involved. 78 minutes. And there he comes. So as long as this doesn't end in a score draw, I am up and running. And that's a nice use of statistics and getting in at the right time. And insurance. You can just bump up your returns, can't you? And you still have a relatively risk-free bet. The only negative now, of course, is if Bochum equalise. And it's a possible, because they desperately need the points. But we know, as I pointed out to you multiple times, Werder Bremen's scoring second half consistently. And they're on a run of 4 wins in 5. Leipzig looking for the win. Brentford and Brighton, don't have an opinion, don't care. Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, you'd be expecting Bournemouth to wake up here, wouldn't you? 8th place, break into the 50-point barrier with a win, playing 10 men. That draws vulnerable, surely. But they survived the first 6 minutes, Palace. What you're getting here, of course, is that reaction to conceding 10 goals in 2. Overcompensating defensively. But if they did this every single match, that would solve their defensive wounds, wouldn't it? But they are down to 10. We do have to make sure it's an on-pitch player and not an off-pitch member of staff, just to make sure. C. Richards. Yeah, one of the players. Okay. So warming up nicely, but no great interest in the Premier League, I'm afraid. So we'll be saying goodbye, I think, once the German Bundesliga is done and dusted. So it's not enough to warrant a live stream without our old pals, Championship League 1 and League 2. But we've done enough today. So we're just looking really at the motivating factors from Huesca and Racing. And we're also looking at the motivating factor from Bournemouth as well, that 51 points, or the 50 plus points with a win, playing against 10 men. It's not boosted them yet. So I will be waiting to see whether they can start pressurising Crystal Palace, who of course nerves shot to pieces. SJK, I expect an equaliser second half, although I don't have any game form to really back it up. I will expect an equaliser. Probably push on, get the win. SJK, HJK, KUPS, your 3 Finnish Veikkausliiga teams this season. Racing, as I say, top 4 clash, automatic promotion awaits the clash of these two. Whoever can pull the 3 points will go a step nearer to automatic promotion. It's within grasp. Even the title is within grasp. Outside of these major leagues, not much to report, unless you're a fan of Algerian football. The Austrian Bundesliga does look a little quiet at the moment, and it's all secondary stuff. Probably until getting to 5 o'clock, we'll have a few Italians and Spaniards on board for a late tilt. But there's not much to pass on. So we're just looking at the Premier League with interest, really. And the German Bundesliga, looking for possible winner from Leipzig, which could help European hopes no end. Got the goal I needed, Werder Bremen. Got the goal we needed, Freiburg, really, for that Desmond. And we got the win for Mainz. So all of those are by the by. So we'll just keep an eye on the last unfurling Bundesliga match with Leipzig. And again, it's a very quiet affair from them. It's probably down to that defensive setup from Holstenkiel. I'm assuming it'll be a defensive setup. Man City and Everton, you would expect a goal, wouldn't you, at some point? That could have been a good one to use like the Werder Bremen match. Lay over 0.5 goals at half time, sit on it, and then lay the draw come the 70th, 75th minute. Have a look at the team news for Man City and indeed for Everton. Let's have a look. Brocha. Marmouche has been very lively since he's been brought on board. There we go. That's the 1-1 SJK team to follow in Finland. De Bruyne, I would still have a sneak that he might be involved in the goal today or in the outcome of this match. So it's a slight shuffling of the cards, I think. Up front, few injuries. Erling Haaland, the big one. It can be a big miss. Grealish to come on. Foden to come on. Doku to run rings around the backs. So there is plenty on the bench to help City to get across the line today. Everton, well, you know what you're getting, don't you? Ultra disciplined, hoof it up, Brocha, 1-0, 98th minute. Happy days. So it's one of those, as I say, you lay over 0.5 goals and lay that 0-0 or draw as late as possible. Still nothing from Bournemouth yet, but they are dominating the dangerous attacks. Nearly 3 times as many, but where's the shots on target? Where's the shots off target? 2 of them second half, 54th minute. So warming up. No corners second half at all. But they do need the win. They've got plenty of a carrot of European football to aim for. They've got the carrot of 51 plus points to aim for. 50 plus points is the only way you'll get into Europe. So that draw must be vulnerable at some point, but they're just not got out of that malaise at the moment, or that defensive Palace setup. So far, so good for the 10 men. Everton, Man City, maybe the cavalry, I think, will change things. Be looking for a possible interest with substitutions. They normally come on the hour mark, but we're not seeing any at the moment. Be looking at Foden or Grealish to potentially just be put into the mix. See if they can breathe some life into this. But this is your typical Everton performance. Extremely tough to beat at home. So those really are the only matches of interest. As we get into the end of the Leipzig match, it's another one, 109, 106, if you wanted to get involved in laying that draw. Leipzig, the motivation is huge, isn't it? With matches running out, a chance with just a single goal to help yourself stay into that 50 plus point Champions League club. So I'm already invested in this. That's quite nice, isn't it? I can get out of that now. There's no point risking a 1-1. So Leipzig is the only remaining match. So we're finally poised, but what I can do, I can get 109, 106 in, and then just leave that. And if it gets down to that point and we see a reward, great. If we get the goal beforehand, I will still profit, particularly if Leipzig score it. So 1.06 to win 32 quid, because that's only £2 liability. That captures the late goals, and this end of the season is what it's all about, late goals, season changing goals. This could get Champions League football on the board for Leipzig. If they draw, they might find out destiny-wise down the line, not getting the win against Holstein Kiel has lumped them with Europa League football, that kind of thing. So when you're in with a chance, particularly with home advantage, it's good to get involved. 3-1 to Brentford. No strong opinion there, as I say. SJK equaliser as expected. If you did play that, well done. Werder Bremen, good call that one, getting that goal. Leipzig, can they get the win? Mainz got the win. So it's advantage Mainz, but a single goal from Leipzig, they will leapfrog into 50 plus points and a real shot at Europe. So if we get a goal, I will say good day after that, because we've not got much to pass on to you like we normally have for the 3s to 5s. So Leipzig, can they do it? Can they change their season potentially? We're getting down to 1.37 for the draw. See, you avoid all this heartache. That's why +1 is so appealing. Old +1 is just twiddling his thumbs. Happy as Larry. He's already got the draw factored in. So that's why that is of greater appeal. But this is why you get greatly rewarded here. You get far better rewarded because you're taking the risk on 2 goals where you only need 1 in the +1 market. So can they do it? Potential season changer for them. So we're waiting with interest, and then I'll bid you a good night. See you again for another live stream, I would suspect, tomorrow. And we've got a busy Monday, haven't we? It's Easter Monday. We've got the Championship back, League One and League Two back again. So we're just waiting to see whether Leipzig can pull it out of the fire. And we're waiting as well to see whether we're going to get any Man City subs, which could be the catalyst for change in that scoreline, particularly if it's attacking subs. Beto brought on for Broja, so that's only Everton producing the substitutions at the moment. So I'm going to say goodnight to you, even though Leipzig haven't equalised just yet. We've still got a little bit of time left there, but you know what's needed there. Thanks very much for coming along, and thank you very much for letting me know about the Telegram issue. I can give that a mention in Telegram as well. Quieter day today, but we still pulled out some decent green screens. Thanks very much for coming along, and I hope to see you for a live stream again tomorrow. I will see you potentially on Telegram a little bit longer, but as you can tell, this is not a normal Saturday, is it? It all kicks off again on Monday. So in lieu of anything on tonight, I will certainly be about on Monday. Have a great day.